I said there's this one burnt USF guy. You see him on there talking like he's a space astronaut, or like he's a, what's it called? I forget. There's some video of it basically, but he has like this big burnt lip, and you can see like his face is all burnt and stuff. He actually got that way. He was one of the Nazi high commanders. He was one of the Nazi high commanders. He wasn't really. I mean, he was basically one of JFK's or the UCF. USC FA people, or UCF. They had different names. UCAF, I think, was what they went by back then, or something. People, or USC, whatever. Anyway, basically shit humans in suits. Anyway, though, what happened was he was in Vietnam or someplace like that, and basically he had a flame where he was like, and he was burning these women and children. And you know, he has this burnt thing and burnt face, and basically he was burning these women and children. And one of my snipers was like, you know what, fuck that guy. I bet I can hit that regulator, because I was like, go for the regulator. So because they're like, how do we shoot this? I was like, you just go for the regulator, or any of the two. It'll burn back. Like there's something about the regulators. The regulators on the flamethrowers are really sensitive. They have to be done this special way, or the flame will burn back up into the tube. Anyway, this guy is like, and basically the regulator, he hits the regulator on the flamer. He's like, the other guy's flaming these women and children, and one of my snipers hits the regulator, ping, and he goes, and the fuel sprays forward, and back. It sprays in the spray basically, and it goes, and the fuel stream touches the flame. And it goes, and it like sprays fuel all over his face. He goes, he's like, and it goes all over his face, and that's how he got his face burnt. He tries to say, oh yeah, he tells people for 40 years or 30 years that he ejected. And the fire from something. No. That the story that they gave was basically he was a jet pilot, and he ejected, and the pilot in front of him went up, and basically as he ejected, the flame like burnt his face from the ejection. Like they tried to say that as the ejector seat, as the ejection. The pilot always ejects first, and then the co-pilot. And when the pilot ejected, it burned his face. He was scarred for life. Anyway, that was their story. Was that it was a bad ejector, or it was a bad ejector, and the pilot ejected first, and then this other guy ejected, and so he got his face all burned from the ejection seat. But the truth was that he was burning these women and children, and one of my snipers hit his regulator on the flamer, and it hit just the top and went ping, and took off the top part. So when the fuel was being pumped in, because the pressure tanks are just pressure, and I think it works off the regulator anyway, it ping and broke off the top of the regulator, and the fuel fanned out, and it touched the flame stream and then burned back, and he was being sprayed with the fuel as well. And it just went, and I closed his eyes and dropped the regulator or something like that. But basically, it got his, like one part went this way or something like that, and got his face, and basically, and one of my people said, "That's what you get," you know, for basically being a shit human, because he was burning these people, and so when. Because he was a piece of shit. He was lighting up all these women and children with his flamer, and they were just women and children, unarmed. They couldn't fight back. You know, and these little children are like, ah, ah, you know, and he's over there flaming on top of them until they're dead. And he was one of the Nazi high command people, decorated officer. Anyway, he was a shit human, and I ordered them to shoot the regulators on the flamethrowers, and they did. And they got I forget where the regulator is. It goes on the front, on the side, or something with two tubes, and they hit just the top. Bink. And they were tired of him. Anyway. So where the fuel jets went. Anyway, so whatever. Anyway, though, but then Nixon and the United States people say that he's a decorated officer and deserves to be whatever. It was a malfunctioning ejection sheet that actually burned his face. You know, when the pilot ejected, he flamed him with his flame. And other people said, well, why didn't his eye get burned? Like, his eyes are fine, or at least one of his eyes was a little bit damaged. I don't really know. Anyway, there were quite a few people that actually that we did that to. You know, we'd find them flamethrowing villages, and then we would shoot them. Anyway, so like you see people with burnt faces in the world, it's probably from them trying to use a flamethrower to burn some people, because we take that, you know, burning innocent women and children that are just living inside of houses, because they would go up to the houses and they would burn the Viet Cong or the Chinese people, you know, just to get rid of them. It's one thing when I mean, I used some flamethrowers for mass attacks. You know, when they would come at us with the knives, you know, we'd flame in front of them, like, don't come near us, you're gonna get burnt, you know, and stuff like that. But usually, you know, we just have the flame thing, so, you know, but realistically, you know, it's us or them, so we just have to shoot them. You know, I don't really, you know, like I said, I didn't like flames, like fire, because burning to death is not a good way to die. It's like, use a bullet, shoot them in the head, make it quick. Like, I'm the one that says, if you have to assassinate someone, assassinate them, you know, the fastest way possible, which is behind the ear, and there's, you know, don't, you know, I don't like people to know, you know, that the whole, like, you know, like, that's a shit thing to do. You know, and there's a lot of shit people in this world. So, you know, like I say, I did have to kill a lot of people. Or at least, yeah, well, it wasn't like that. You know, it's like they're swimming across with knives. And they're going to rape women and children and kill. And like, you know, I'm responsible for the, you know, but like, what are you going to do? You know, you don't want to kill, but Anyway, the only people I actually ever ordered tortured or had tortured were those few special people. And those people I enjoyed, because, like, you know, the amount of death that was behind them was epic. They ordered a lot, they lied to a lot of people and got them to kill themselves or kill each other or something. So, like, Richard Nixon and John McCain and some of them, like, they were not heroes by any definition. And it pissed me off. Anyway, so it took me 1,000 years to work through everything and filter it all out and figure out all the lies and all the different issues, and I had to pay a lot of money to get to the bottom of everything. But we did, and, well, oh well. Anyway, I mean, they made it me or them, so, oh well, anyway, they can try to lie to people, but, I mean, there are a lot of people there, and a lot of guns in the world. A lot of guns. And just because you have a really good suit of armor does not mean that you are invincible nor immortal. And, you know, I always went with, you know, be kind, be loving, give food to people, be someone that the people love, and then they will support you. And then no one can touch you, because if everyone loves you, you know, you'll know what's going to happen before it happens, because they're going to help you. But, you know, if you be a shit human that everyone hates, then they're going to find you and kill you no matter what. You know, because, you know, you're cruel and mean and vicious. And I don't know why they were cruel and mean and psycho and vicious. Like, I just know they were being cruel and mean and psycho and vicious. And there's lots of film of them. Anyway, whatever. That was the USAF, also known as the UCAF, whatever, people, or the Nixon people. Like I said, we didn't know who was behind the helmets until we shot one of them in the shoulder, and then we were like, he was hit in the shoulder, and then we go around looking for people that went to the hospital looking, or people that were wounded in the shoulder, and then we found, I think, either Richard Nixon or JFK, and then we knew who it was. So, and we started tracking them from there. So anyway, that's what happened, and it was outside my Germany base or my French base in the LSF '71 Blackbird spaceship flyers that had cracked and burnt, or cracked and old tires.